All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. Thank you, everyone, for all the love and support. All right, gentlemen. Bills, Dolphins, AFC East battle Sunday.
Big game. Mike's going to be there.
Mike is going to be there, so that means it's a big game. Mike, this game, I know it's week 4, but this is such a huge game.
I love it. I love every bit about this. I said to you guys last year, one of my favorite moments was on the field in Kansas City. It was a 4:25 game. We're out there. It was right before the fans came out. It was elite. It was awesome because the weather was perfect.
Mike did look at me that day and was like, this is why you do the job.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was like, when all is said and done, he's like, I will miss this type of a game.
We're standing there, and it's mostly just the players out there because the fans hadn't come in. And that's what I'm bringing up because I think that's what we're going to see Sunday. And you've got, Allen and Mahomes in that game. And then, Taylor Swift's boyfriend comes out and all that stuff going on. But the weather was perfect. It was October. It was on the warmer side, but it was great. That's what we're going to be feeling tomorrow out there because I think this is going to be a fantastic matchup. Yeah, it's early, but it's the NFL. It's October. Now, you think more about this in November, December, but this game, Dan, has ramifications all the way till they meet in Week 18.
I agree, Are you like Stephon Diggs? You have more football behind you than in front of you. But you always remember that Kansas City. I just remember you looking right at me and being like, this is... How can you retire? Like these are the best things. We will be talking about this game up until Jenna was saying we're in the sports office going, is this the biggest game of the season? Like total.
Yeah.
And we really couldn't say definitively no.
No.
But it's not, it's week 4. So you're trying not to make it more than it is. But this game will have implications going into 17 and 18.
Yeah, it's a division game, Jenna, against the best team in the division with the Bills. I mean, these are the 2 best teams in the division. So it's huge. I can't wait.
Even Stephon Diggs was like, these games essentially count like 2.
Yeah.
And especially with the Bills' loss to the Jets, it matters that much more because...
Zach Wilson.
Oh, it's gross.
I said, Zach Wilson's gotten him twice, and Urban Meyer.
Oh, it's just...
They're still going to come back and win that, Jackson.
Dan and I believe that game somehow is going to get replayed, and the Bills are still going to win. That was so awful. Let's forget about all that.
We have long-running jokes on this channel. That one will always be around.
They're still going to win.
They're going to win that game against Jacksonville.
Oh, my God.
Okay, let's talk about this Miami team. Dan's a huge Tua fan. He thinks he's a phenom, MVP in the running. Let's talk about it because, Dan, you think that Tua is...
We talked about it on the Buffalo Plus podcast. You can also see it. Like, comment, subscribe. I think he's more system-based, and I think, like a Brock Purdy, he can...
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
That, Mr. Irrelevant?
Brock Purdy?
Has he lost a game?
Compared to Tank for Tua?
Yeah, he lost to the Eagles. He got knocked out in the playoff game.
You hate the Niners so much.
I hate the 40-winers so much.
This is your Philly is showing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Philly's out. Okay, what I'm saying is
Purdy is a system quarterback.
Yeah, and that's...
Tua's better than that.
Yeah, that is not giving Tua enough credit.
We did the Buffalo Plus live show on Thursday, and you sat there and said, he's throwing to guys that are wide open. When is he threading the needle over a corner before a safety?
That is one part of being an elite quarterback or a way above average quarterback. Another is knowing when to get the ball out, when to get it to the right spot. Tua sees the field very well, makes quick decisions. Everybody is not wide open every time they catch the ball, okay? But his timing is, to this year, has been impeccable. That is a skill.
100%.
Because there's a lot of guys with big arms.
Has timing. Because, unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan is a pretty good offensive mind, contrary to your belief, when he has a quarterback that literally has an arm. But he has an arm. They're pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're being a little unfair to Tua.
I think I'm being exactly fair.
I think you're being a little harsh.
I'm not sitting here saying he's awful.
You're saying he's a system quarterback.
It's a good system.
It is a good system, but I think he's been able to elevate that system, A, by his play. Also, the talent around him makes it that much better. But he's been able to get the ball to those guys in that timing, in that space, all of these things. He gets the ball out quick. I get it. You say he's a one-read guy. At the same point, he's been able to execute that system to above where, like, where they're at now.
So Joe Burrow would be a better quarterback in this system than Josh Allen.
Joe Burrow would be better.
Well, Joe Burrow is a little more, he's less improvised.
Correct.
Right. So Josh wouldn't work with McDaniel. Or you'd have to change the whole system.
No, I would love for Ken Dorsey to have some McDaniel in him and give him easy reads to say, throw to this guy. He's open.
Man, I'm going to get him going on the running game next.
No,
oh my gosh.
And again, I'm not trying to sit here and say that Tua isn't I said he's probably on a tier 3 the way that he's playing. I'm not knocking the way that he's playing. I'm saying that just like Brock Purdy, when he throws the ball to a guy and then that guy breaks 4 tackles and goes 80 yards, am I supposed to compliment him for an 80-yard dime? No.
First of all, right now he's playing on tier 1 because he's been the most effective quarterback in the NFL. May not last, but certainly may not last on Sunday. He's been really good.
Yeah.
He has been really good. System quarterbacks can have good
Oh my gosh. You're like, what would it take for you to think that Tua is not a system quarterback?
To play games off script, to be able to make plays off script.
Okay.
He really hasn't been that type of guy.
Okay.
And again, he's getting better at timing. He still is not dramatically one read. He's still a lot of one read. And now his read gets open quickly because you have to play off 10 yards sometimes because you can't jam them. Their wide receivers in the line because of pre-snap motion. All of these things factor into Tua's success. But put Tua on Pittsburgh, and I don't think he's that guy.
I would agree with.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes.
I think Tua's a good quarterback. I think you can absolutely win with him and win big games and a lot of games. I don't know if he's the difference maker for this Dolphins team. Point guard, great point guard with outstanding shooters around him and a great coach.
I just think the system has worked so well that he hasn't needed to improvise as much.
Also true.
All right.
Both things can be true, Dan.
Wow.
It just makes for a boring take. When both things can be true, it's just a boring take.
But that's how life works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to make it,
Not Dan's life.
I like to make it spicy.
Hot fakes takes.
Yeah.
Hot fakes.
Hot takes fates. Oh my God.
That one's getting clipped.
I'm not high. I'm really not. All right, let's talk about the weapons then. Mike, they have Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle looks like he's going to play. I mean, then you have the running backs. There's so many guys.
They do. They have a lot of speed, and they know how to use them. The offensive line is not great, but they're effective. They're more of a system offensive line. It really is. It kind of does work for them.
You're right.
But look, they can score. I think the defense can be had. I like some parts of their defense. Vic Fangio's been a really good. They do.
Yeah.
But you look at that Chargers game, they got lit up by the Chargers offense a little bit. And I think that the Bills can get to them. I think the way the Bills' offense has played with a mix of the run and the pass, Josh picking his spots to be Josh, and not turning the ball. Don't make it easier for the Dolphins.
Correct.
Guess what? The Dolphins don't want to turn it over either and make it easy for the Bills.
Yeah.
I think these teams in total are very evenly matched, even though they come at it in 2 different ways.
Yes.
So I love the Dolphins' weapons that they have. And again, I think their defense is good. Can be really good. Right now, they can be had.
Needs to be tested.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think is the key for this Bills team heading into this game, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is to not try to get, as Sean McDermott says, over your skis. And the reason I say this is it doesn't mean you have to have a crazy game plan or take crazy chances in the game. You can't go in there thinking, oh boy, Dolphins are going to score 35, 40 points. The Bills have respect for their own defense.
Yeah.
They know what this game's going to be like. And I got both teams scoring in the 30s anyhow. Yeah. I think they're going to score. I think if the Bills play their game and the Dolphins play their game, it's going to come down to the last 1 or 2 possessions, no matter what. Because these are 2 really good teams.
For me, it's protecting Josh Allen.
The
O-line has played phenomenal the last 2 weeks. They've gone up. Every time they've stepped up in weight class. They went from Max Crosby to now an entire line of really good pass rushers, and they've answered the bell both times. It's not the Commanders' defensive line, but it's a damn good defensive line that has got guys that can get after him. but Allen looked comfortable against the Commanders.
Yeah.
And you could kind of sense that. And when he knew there was pressure, he knew where it was coming from. Things like that. They're going to have to score, like we said, 30. And Josh needing to be comfortable in the pocket, allow extra time for some bigger chunk plays, to have some of those, as we call it, like knockout punches.
Yeah.
You're going to need some protection in those cases. I think it's the Bills' offensive line. For Spencer Brown to continue to play well, Deion Dawkins is playing at a very high level. For those guys to continue.
And one quick thing. We've seen it out of the Bills' defense. We saw it from A.J. Epinesa. We've seen it from Greg Rousseau. And this is part of fundamentals. Hands up. It has worked for them.
Wingspan.
And Tua is a shorter quarterback. He's not a tall guy, and he does like to get the ball out. Hands up. And there's that moment where a defensive lineman goes on his rush and then sees that happening. Get those hands up. And if you can make a play or two off of that, I think it's huge.
I will say, I feel like the Bills love where they're at coming into this game.
Yeah.
All the talk is on the Dolphins, them scoring 70 points. They're coming into Buffalo. I think the Bills feel very confident and comfortable, and I think that's exactly where they need to be. They know this game is big, but at the same point, they're not going to be nervous. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm so intimidated by this team. They know this team very well, and they know what they need to do, and when your defense is playing the way that they have, it's going to be fun to watch. I am expecting fireworks on Sunday, a track meet. What is your score prediction? Actually, I'll start with you, Dan. What is your score prediction?
All week I had been kind of drinking the tea that is the Gatorade that is the Miami Dolphins and their offense. But I think that once I started to maybe move some games around, like what if they were coming off their New England game heading into this week? Would I feel differently? And then I just ripped up all of those things, and I thought, it's Josh Allen playing the Miami Dolphins. Don't think, just throw. Josh Allen, here are some stats for you. He's played the Dolphins 11 times in his career. He has won 9 of them. He has 34 total touchdowns and just 7 interceptions. He dominates the Dolphins, and I think he has 12 Offensive Player of the Week awards just from playing Miami. He is so good. The Bills are averaging 33 points against Miami, and he's averaging 276 yards passing. Josh Allen just beats the Dolphins. That's what he does, and that's what he will get to do here. They're not playing this game on the surface of the sun, which bodes well for Buffalo. I like the Bills in this one. Sean McDermott really tested for the first time as a defensive coordinator. Benz doesn't break, get just enough stops. Bills win 31-27.
Yeah. I like those stats don't lie. I mean, the way Allen has been able to play against the Dolphins, and I love where this Bills team is at coming into it. I think there's a lot of room to continue to grow for this team, and I think this week is going to be one of those circumstances where they are able to bend and not break in terms of the defense. The offense is able to be efficient. Maybe some of those longer drives that take up the time of possession, keeping the Dolphins offense on the sideline. And then you still have Allen, who is able to make those spectacular throws if and when he needs to. And let's be real, he will need to. I have the Bills winning this one 35-32. Close game, but I think Orchard Park at home, the crowd is going to be loud. They took it personally that Tyreek Hill said that they are an average or regular fan base. I think the Bills are going to be behind it. The crowd is going to be behind it, and I have Buffalo winning this one.
Yeah. Look, Miami, last year, Dan was talking about the sun. That first game was crazy. But I think the Dolphins showed a lot as a team, and the 2 times they came to Orchard Park. They played the Bills tight the entire way through, even with Skylar Thompson at quarterback. And I think this Bills team is different than what they were at the end of last year. But if you're a Dolphins player, you're coming in here going, we've been in here in the freezing cold with the snow coming down and hung in there. And in the second case, with a third-string quarterback. So that's part of it. But at the same time, Dan makes the point. This is Josh Allen's team to beat. He beats the Dolphins. They're really good. These teams are going to play a ton of times. They're going to probably play 3 times this year. That's the way it's going to work out. I've got the Bills in a high-scoring game, 34-31 over Miami.
All right.
2 fun stats for you. Miami is the 12th team in the last 20 years to be 3-0 straight up and against the spread and be an underdog in their 4th game. Those previous 11 teams, 2-9 in that following game. Wow. Also, teams that scored 60-plus points the following week, 1-6.
That is wild.
After scoring 60-plus points. Used up all the
touchdowns.
Yeah. All used up all the touchdowns.
All right.
Too many points.
Too many points. All right, we'll have plenty of post-game coverage
Stats.
on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel for Mike and Dan. I am Jenna. Please be sure to check out the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, visit the Buffalo Plus store, buffaloplusstore.com.
Get your Dan is right mug.
Or Dan is wrong, depending on whatever side you want to flip it to. So there is that, which we all appreciate. Thank you for joining us here on Buffalo Plus. We'll catch you next time.